The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Mr Speaker, I want to concur with everything that the Honourable John Banks has just said on this particular question. I think it's fair to say that it is relatively unusual, although becoming more common, for us to be in agreement on issues. Mr Speaker, and I do want to reinforce that at the end of this debate I will be seeking leave to send to the Select Committee, not to debate now, but to have submissions on the question of animal testing for psychoactive substances, and I will get back to that, but I want to thank the member for signalling this. The Labour Party will be supporting this bill. Animal welfare is important for its own sake, it's important for our economy, and I think it's also important for how we think about ourselves. It is one of the measures of civilisation in a society, the way that people treat animals. This is a bill which is moving in the right direction. I think there's going to be debate at the Select Committee whether it moves far enough, and I know that my colleague Phil Twyford has an issue, or in fact has a series of issues which he's going to raise with the House as to the fact that we are not moving far enough, and that there are some quite big loopholes in the bill as introduced that we'll want to see closed as we progress the bill through the House. Mr Speaker, I do want to now return to the testing of party pills, and by party pills I think most of us know what psychoactive substances are. They're the synthetic cannabis and the quite broad range of drugs that are known as party pills. Unfortunately, when this House dealt with the issue a matter of a few weeks ago, we did not take the opportunity to ensure that there was no testing of these recreational drugs on animals. We left open the possibility, and I think it's fair to say the expectation, that in the end animals and a range of animals, but including dogs, would be tested to see whether or not the drug dealers would be allowed to deal in particular drugs. And I think all of us know that when this testing occurs, it results in the death, and often the painful death, of animals. And that, from my perspective, is something which is just not acceptable. Mr Speaker, we've known this issue is going to be coming up since Tuesday. Late on Tuesday, I sent out an email to a number of people, and because they've been kind enough to copy me back into the email, I know that over 4,000 people have already sent a message via email. 4,000 distinct individuals have sent a message by email to Nathan Guy asking him to ensure that this matter is on the agenda for the Select Committee. And Mr Chairman, that, you know, I'm talking to my colleague before about snapper, and I think again I'm going to agree with Michelle Bogue that there are two pretty big issues that are hanging around slightly under the radar, but probably coming up above the radar. One of them is the snapper issue, and the other one is the very poor decision by the government weeks ago to allow animal testing of psychoactive substances on dogs. So in about 36 hours, the Minister has got about 4,000 emails. I put a page up on Facebook, again late on Tuesday night. That has already had 32,000 views. Mr Speaker, I don't have a wide group fans on Facebook or likes on Facebook. But Mr. Speaker, this issue is one which is going viral, and it is going viral, Mr. Speaker, because New Zealanders care. New Zealanders do know right from wrong in this area. They do know, it's innate in us to know that it is wrong to have cruelty to animals for no good purpose. Now, I'm not going to go as far as some members. I think there are occasions in medical research where, for the greater good of the health of individual people around the world, it is okay at the moment to test on animals. If there is no alternative, that is, if it's human lives or animal suffering, in the end, I will accept some suffering for the curing of disease. I think that's fair. But where it is for no good at all, and the support of recreational drugs is, in my opinion, not a good thing, then it is absolutely unacceptable to cause animals to suffer and die. Because, Mr. Speaker, what we are effectively promoting is state-sanctioned cruelty. That's what the Psychoactive Substances Bill does. It promotes state-sanctioned cruelty to animals. And, Mr. Speaker, that is a sort of parliament, of government or state which I want no part of and which I want to work hard to reverse. Now, I am certain people are going to come to the Select Committee on this issue. I think the bill is a broad bill and that's it. But, Mr. Speaker, what I want to make sure is that when they come to that committee, they have a proposition to address, that they have a positive suggestion to which they can submit, as well as submitting on the bill. And that's why I've drafted a supplementary order paper. Mr. Speaker, I want to make it clear, I'm not a law draftsperson. This is something which has not been drafted with the armoury of Crown law around it. It is, Mr. Speaker, a relatively simple amendment. And what it does, Mr. Speaker, is say, notwithstanding anything else in the Psychoactive Substances Act 2013, no animal shall be used in research or testing for the purpose of gaining approval for any psychoactive substance. It's simple, it is clear, and I would like to hear views on it. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude with an email that I've got from a gentleman called Jonathan Woodford Robinson in response to the email that I sent out in the last couple of days. And what he says is, quote, "As the testing has no medical benefit, I liken it to cosmetics with which animal testing has declined due to public attitudes toward it. I can't justify any testing on animals purely for the pleasure of humans, i.e. recreational drug use. If the testing goes ahead, one may as well legislate for cockfighting, dog fighting, and any other form of animal suffering for the sake of human entertainment." Mr. Speaker, he says, so much for man's best friend. We're certainly not dog's best friend, are we? I think that puts it pretty well. At the end of this debate, Mr. Speaker, I will seek leave for my supplementary order paper to be referred with the bill to the committee. Thank you.
I call Mojo Mathers.